for him at the time.
Yep, very much so. Yeah. All right. Well, give me a little bit of a pause and then I'll do the intro.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hello. Welcome back, podcast people. I am happy that you are here, that you've decided to join us. Again, a vision of doing this podcast is that we're seeking to create people of peace and have conversations that would lead us in that direction. So, to that effect, we have Tom Pagan with us today. Not Pagan, Pagan.
Yeah.
Okay, just to set the record straight. Yeah. I use the podcast to make sure that we get names right so that people understand.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
That's how you say it.
And if I'm not offended if people say it the other way.
He is. It's secret, though. He just won't tell you. So with each podcast guest, we do a drink.
We do?
And yeah, we do. And you're so surprised because you've never watched this before. What I got for you is the Spindrift sparkling water. It's real squeezed fruit. I wonder if they hand squeeze them or not.
If it's individually made, probably so. But if they're in big batches, I don't know.
You don't think so? Just machine squeezed? You think there's a difference if it's squeezed by a machine versus by hand?
Are we already going into the AI situation? Because hand squeezed is called love, and it's made with
Cheers.
love. Thank you. And for this time, thank you for hearing my requests.
Yes, of course. We have certain guests that are easy and other ones that have requests.
I'm not sure if I had the line before.
It's strong. It's there.
It is strong.
It's not a mild flavor. That's for sure.
Yeah, and when you're on specific liquid dietary things, you need something with a little bit of a punch.
It's true. Yeah, a life, some would say.
Yeah. Yes. I've missed that for the last, let's say 4 or so weeks.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. What some people don't know is you were actually, I think probably officially, the first podcast guest ever.
Yeah, and because I think we talked about that.
Yeah, you did the dry run that wasn't posted to make sure that we had everything right.
And you said the right term. It wasn't posted.
It wasn't posted.
I did so well that you guys chose not to post it.
We wanted to keep it to ourselves. We wanted to archive it as a memento.
Yes.
Maybe I'll just have to post that along with this one.
Maybe a little snippet after the behind the scenes. Like, hey, this is where we started.
Yeah, we've got
where we started and where they are in this new digs now. It's welcoming. It's nice. Yeah.
It's very true. Yeah. That film that we did way back when, almost a year and a half ago now, was very much darker. And we have both lost weight since then.
Well, I was down, and then I went up, and I've lost it back. I'm going back down.
There you go.
Hence, life seems to get in the way.
Yeah, it sure does.
It's funny how the body uses food and beverage as stress.
Yeah, it sure does. We don't seem to realize it until it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, we don't have to make, you don't have to kiss the mic and do everything else. It's a little bit more of a
an improved setup.
I think it is. I think you guys are using funds appropriately.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you are on for several different reasons, but one of the fruitful things is just that the people of Cold Springs Church, the people in this area, what the experience is, and just hearing about life. Yeah. So on that, what has Jesus looked like in your life? I know it's such a broad question, right? But if you just take us from did you grow up in a Christian household? What was kind of that first, oh, God is bigger than me, maybe even real? What did that look like for you?
Well, I did not grow up in El Dorado County, so I grew up East Bay, Bay Area, Northern California kid still, just over the Dumbarton Bridge in a small town. Newark was the name. Newark is surrounded by Fremont. Most people know that.
Not New York,
no,
but Newark.
Yeah, Newark. Just kind of like people thought whenever I was younger, they'd say, "Oh, you're from New Jersey." I'd say, "No, I'm not. I am from California, from here." So I didn't understand that because as a young child, you're like, "What? New Jersey? Where's that?"
Yeah.
But yeah, Newark, Bay Area, by the Dumbarton Bridge. I would say I was raised in, a Christian kind of family, but not fully brought up in a church.
Yeah.
My grandfather on my mom's side was a pastor, very strong pastor. So she grew up in that household. One of her brothers also became a pastor, and just last year, I think he had his 50th, one considered an anniversary, but 50 years of being a pastoral and everything. And so when we go visit, we had those conversations for my grandfather and those kind of aspects. And then my family, my dad's side, all Catholic. And so technically where I was kind of going to church as we kind of did grow up and go through things, it was more of the Catholicism kind of aspects of life. Never went through catechism, but I did go to church growing up in regards to that, and then having that faith around me as a greater, family. So the faith was always there. I always knew that there was something greater than me. I always had that feeling, that pull of being, I'm not gonna say righteous, but just knowing that there's good and bad, there's evil, and all those aspects in life. And so I had that feeling for many, many years growing up. And then as I got into the middle school, junior high, and high school, we're going to, let's go to church, kind of aspect, push, it was nice. We get to go to church and go to breakfast afterwards, have the meal. So we'd go, morning mass or something in regards to that. And it was just weird because it was just very structured. Growing up, it's, going to Catholic church, it's like, the motto is stand up, sit down, fight kind of aspects. If you've never been to any type of mass, there's a lot of just ho-hummery. I never felt like closeness there. But as I was growing up and back as we talked about a little earlier, different generational things, when I wasn't in school during summer, friends would get together, and because we were so close to the East Bay Regional Park System, which is right there near Dumbarton Bridge, when it was like a 20-minute bike ride. So we'd be out and about all over this area on bikes and being out in nature. And growing up in that aspect, I always felt that was the bigness. God was around there, and I was like, okay, what is this feeling? What is this all about? And as I grew up and got more into life, met a young woman a year older than me that introduced me to the Christianity.
So cougar, just
1 year. Yeah, cougar. Careful. But high school girlfriends and that kind of stuff, and introduced me into the Christian style of evangelical kind of churches, and I was like, whoa, this is weird. This is cool. You can actually have fun. And so as that feeling was going on, and as life progressed, graduated high school, went to Humboldt State. I went did a year at Ohlone and then went up to Humboldt State. And started going into the forestry department. Thought I wanted to be a forester or forest ranger aspect, so I went into forestry. And as I got into, which Humboldt's one of the top schools for that, then I realized, if people don't know, forestry is cutting trees down, which I'm all for it because hey, I like wood, it's fine. But I started to really figure out that the career path was not there, So I went over to the natural resources department. But while we were there, life happened. I always had that aspects of feeling that I'm closer to God when I'm outside in that environment. Fishing, hunting, just hiking, anything like that, walks on the beach with a dog kind of aspects were always, I felt a pull, a much stronger pull to that power. And then, so I always knew something was always there. And then that's when I officially, it was, very dark night when I woke up. I had not really a vision, but I actually saw what I would consider a demon of some type or everything, and I ended up grabbing my Bible my grandfather had given me, and that's when I officially accepted Jesus at that point in time.
Wow.
So it was
I want to slow down there if you're okay. So when you say, walk me through, if you're, we can move on if you want to, but walk me through what you saw, what that experience was that night to lead to that, because I mean, that seems significant.
Well, growing up and having conversations with my mom later on, as we got older, because my mom was the only daughter of the family, so I think they had 4 brothers. She was the only daughter. Growing up in a very strong religious home.
Yeah.
She had encounters with, and David's talked about it in past, and it really, strengthened what I felt and have had in my past. So when I was younger, I had like little demons or little aspects, little evil encounters.
Yeah.
When I was younger, so that's why I knew there was good and evil and aspects, and not really think you're dreaming.
Yeah.
But
and when you're young, I mean, well, is that just dreams? Is that just moments that you're like, that felt influenced by something else?
Yeah,
is it seeing things?
It was like you're in between sleeping and dreaming. So it's like you're in that middle realm. As a child, do you see? I do believe that children see things that we as adults have put the filter on.
Yeah.
And I feel that strongly that's all around us even today, but we have that filter, and as now as a Christ follower, I feel that energy and that I produce more of a, I'd say, white energy coming out when I deal with some things that we may come and talk about a little bit later in regards to work aspects of things. But at that point in time, when I was in this home as a relationship, it was just kind of on and off. The home that we lived in was somewhat of a dark home, and just felt always had a heavy burden. And I woke up in that night in the dark corner, and the only thing I think of is it was you think of the Green Reaper of like a 6-7 foot tall dark situation that was cloaked directly staring towards us. That's what I saw. And first, just like I said, my grandfather gave me the Bible however many years prior, and it's always been on my nightstand next to me. And I grabbed it and I said, "You're not welcome here." And basically said, "You need to leave." And I accepted Jesus. I woke up, my partner next to me, and said, "Hey, this is what we prayed together." And that's when I accepted. I was probably about 20-ish, somewhere in that realm.
Yeah.
And I always had, like I said, going to church, always knew that there was something better, but officially accepting Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior was then.
There was a decision or a commitment face against, spiritual realities. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. So you wake up that friend, and was he religious, Christian?
It was a woman. It was a female.
Oh, okay.
It was significant other at the time. And that was the one that had brought me.
That's right. Yeah.
Brought me into the church environment of the evangelical, Episcopalian kind of thing and stuff like that. Yeah. And so we had been going church on and off, living up in Humble on our own, and no family around. So we had been trying to find a church to fit anyways. But so she was very excited for that moment. So
Okay, so you continue on from that experience of like, hey, this is a decision, follow Jesus.
Yeah.
You get through school. What did life look like?
Got through school, ups and downs, craziness of life. Moved once I graduated Humboldt, moved to Roseville, and then was going through life there. I was working warehousing as a supervisor.
Okay.
So when I was in Humboldt, I was a FedEx ground warehouse supervisor there. While I was doing school. Then I transferred to Sacramento, went to Graveyard for them full time, and then graveyards just don't work for my lifestyle because my body says no. It's not a lifestyle thing. It's just the human body that I'm in says you don't work till 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
that can't happen.
Yeah. So it's pretty rough. So I stopped that, and then Roseville worked for a couple of different warehouses as supervisors, and then finally realized that hey, this was my dream. I knew I wanted to be a ranger since I was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
So I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and it just need the wake up call. And so I started the process. Got hired on in 2003. Moved to Pacific Grove, where our academy was then, in this horrible place of Monterey in the Pacific Grove. Spent 6 to 7 months of my life there. Learning how to, they teach you everything you need to do in law enforcement. And do that aspects of it. And then definitely multiple times of prayer and strength. We're requesting the strength and the knowledge to retain everything. A couple of buddies of mine were Catholic, so I said, hey, for our academy then, we had about 23 to 25 or more scenarios that we had to pass over a 2-day period. and that was 2 weeks before graduation. If you failed them, you failed, and one remediation, you were done with the academy. In which they've restructured now. Post has restructured stuff, so they'll do, so many scenarios throughout the academy, like do 3 or 4, and then they'll do another 3 or 4 later on. So they don't stack them like they did back, 23 years ago. Which, as I say, it's a little bit easier, but it's retention. As a career path, you need to retain things. So we was like, hey, you guys, let's go to mass. Because I didn't have, I'm in a new environment. At least you can go. It's funny with Catholic. You can go to any Catholic church and you'll be fine. It's like, hey, go, let's go. So, so we continued. I always surrounded myself with. It just seemed to surround myself with people like that without even knowing it. Graduate the academy and get stationed down in Ventura, Santa Barbara. So I'm working the beaches down in that area, and then 2 weeks into it, not looking for a relationship, I meet. My current wife now, Jen, and we can continue on all the different locations, but there may be stories. So
yeah,
and we've moved all over the state over the last 23 years.
Always been in California?
Yes, always been California. I made that decision to go with California State Parks as a law enforcement versus national, for the fact that I was born and raised here. I love this state in regards to what it has provided, but in general. There's other stuff that we can go off the beaten path politically wise, but as a state, what state can you be in the mountains in one day, same day be at the beach? I was at Humboldt, I was at the beach maybe at night, and then earlier in that day I was out hunting deer in the mountains. I mean, you're 30, 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer to get snow, and you can be in snow and then an hour later. It's kind of like here, it's like perfect beautiful environment, but we have the rivers versus the ocean. So all those aspects of that, California has, and the dynamics that I was able to do have been here. And federal, you're moving around a lot every 4 years or so. It's really hard to get on permanently. So it was just nice to be close to family. Our families, my family's important. So I always had a tight knit family. So even though my parents were divorced when I was young, they were always there. They always worked together to make sure that our Christmases were fine. Like we shared Christmases, even though they were divorced, and there had been separated times, but we still. It's so funny. Now that the whole family's up in this area now, we're still celebrating holidays together as a whole. So it's been really good. I mean, love has always been around me, which I've been very, 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 very lucky to have. So yeah,
that's not usual for a divorced couple to still.
No, they
do stuff together.
They had, like any relationship, they had their hard patches. And as a kid, you see things and traumatizing, or if not. And but they did their best, and I don't hold anything against them. They did everything they could to make my brother and I, to who we are today. And I respect them and I love them for that. They're great people. And I bet it was very hard for them to celebrate a holiday together just for us. So as a parent myself, I can see how that could be. Luckily I didn't have to go through that. So
you so right now, what would be here's what I've realized in law enforcement is that the title and department that you work for is very, very important. I guess I don't want to step on the landmine that I have with other law enforcement friends of police department versus sheriff's department. Big difference.
There's a different types of policing.
Yes. So where do you lie? Park ranger?
Official title is state park peace officer, and then dash ranger. And that's the aspect. That's the historical kind of when people view that. That's what we are. But we're state police. Just like Highway Patrol, Fish and Wildlife, so wardens, are your 3 major state law enforcement, uniformed everyday officers. So when the crap hit the fan back in Sacramento a few years back, we were called in to help with the riots and everything else, and people were like, "Oh, state parks," it's like
we're state,
So we have statewide jurisdiction, whereas county has their county, and then city has a city jurisdiction. We're statewide, so it's always pretty funny when I'll stop somebody on one of the highways, 50, 80 or whatever. When I was down south, 101 enforcing DUI enforcement. What do you mean? You're a state park ranger. You can't stop me. I'm like, well, this is a situation. We're going to take that up with the judge later, but this is how it is, and go from there. So, yeah. So our primary function is to, protect the state park lands and boundaries and the people that recreate there.
Yeah.
And then we have our area of influence and area of the stuff that goes around it. But you can almost look at a lot of the rangers as kind of like a rural deputy. So El Dorado County, deputy for our local people, or Placer County from, I'd say, Newcastle up towards Tahoe.
Okay.
As the rural deputy, because they still take over other areas. But that's kind of like what we are. So we're like, we help other agencies. We might be the first person or first officer on scene of an accident, or if there's something going on, we might be the first person that actually enacts the contact to diffuse the situation, and then we'll turn it over to other agencies if it's their primary. So, yeah.
What? So you knew you wanted to do that since you were in 7th grade.
Yeah. Pretty lucky, huh?
Yeah. Is it everything you've dreamed of as a little 7th grade boy?
Overall, yeah. At the beginning, no.
Why not?
So, first visit to Yosemite National Park, I was 7th grade. We went for a week. I'd never been there. I've been all over the Bay Area doing all kinds of, outdoor things, and we, camp and fish and do everything else. So we make it to Yosemite for the first time. We're doing a 10-mile rim hike from Glacier Point all the way down. Got my butt kicked as a young kid. I was like, man, this is hard. And then seeing people with badge and guns and enforcing law in that environment. And I'm like, people get paid to work in an environment like this and do these things? Because I always had that calling to do the right thing and to serve, kind of serve is the big thing, serve others, serve and help and do whatever else. And I was like, I want to do this, and then growing up, they still do it very rarely, but when I was in school, they always took those tests. What best suits you for a career? And it always came out to like number one, that Ranger's kind of series. So getting stationed down in Ventura, and Santa Barbara areas, especially Ventura County itself, very heavily homeless encampment zone.
Yeah.
So you go through all your classes, you go through training, you go everything else, and all of a sudden you're bushwhacking through, underbrush and entering homeless encampments. And I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for, all the quote unquote ranger things and, protecting resources. And so at the beginning it wasn't, at anybody's on training, life is thrown into you very quickly.
Yeah.
And so, but overall, what I've done in the 23 years that I've been doing this job has been everything that I wanted. So I put it this way, is like I've patrolled on almost every piece of equipment except a horse and a snowmobile. So
wow.
I've done
not a horse. That's actually a little bit surprising.
There are, for state parks, our horse patrol is dwindled down very, very small. So either you have to have your own personal horse and have it trainable to the point where you can pass those little tests and exams.
Yeah.
To do that.
And you don't want a personal horse? What's going on?
Mira does.
Your daughter, yeah.
Which who she is. Yes. And I told her, I put it this way. I said, okay, hon, if you go ahead and just do a quick Google search and see and talk to a few people how much it costs for for the animal, and then everything that goes along with it, and you let me know if it's an affordable animal. And
she ever come back around to you?
Oh yeah, she did,
that?
and she's like, okay, I understand. So we have friends that will let her. She works. She goes over, and so she gets to ride. We have friends that will have trained her, working with her, and so she gets to at least have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Not own it and pay for it, but she gets to sweat equity.
Yep.
To be able to prep it, work it, and then clean up. So pretty nice. It's like
cool.
It's like boats, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The best boat you can ever have is the one that someone else owns.
Yes. That's kind of how a lot of things are, it seems. Yeah. So I find it so interesting that what I heard you say a few times was that you just felt you were closest to God when in nature.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people feel that way, but they don't translate that to a career. So in what ways do you feel like God was shifting you towards being a ranger? Do you think that's something that you wanted, or do you think that's something God had been preparing you for and you kind of stepped into from that inspiration?
No, I think, putting it that way, and, I've noticed you pick up on some good things. Good job, Daniel. No, I think I was meant to do this.
Yeah.
It was definitely a God. That's my path.
Yeah.
The Lord has blessed me in many ways. My mom has said from a very young age for me, I've had an old soul, so much more mature than of my age as a young child, to sit back, see it, act it, and work through those things. And so I think that's been a blessing in regard to that to where I was. And then service has been a key thing. I remember even as a young child, I used to bake a lot. I thought I wanted to be a baker and a chef or something when I was younger. And so we'd have people come over, or my dad have a service guy come over, and I'd throw something together real quick and thank them, even though my dad's paying for them. My dad's paying for them to be there, and I'm like, oh, here's some cookies, or here's like this, whatever I just whipped up real fast.
How interesting.
So I've always had that. But then, as I've gotten older and more bitter, that this, as you have others, on, it's hard to, not let that happen to you, but focus on the good still.
Yeah.
Still there. And so, I think that was what I meant. That's my story. My life has been this. It was in preparation to I've always been, as a 19-year-old, I was overseeing, like I said, warehouse, FedEx ground, warehouse delivery services. 5 adult men were much older than me. And I'm making sure that they're getting, bubbly water. Making sure they're getting out and they're getting back on time.
Yeah.
And I had a split shift when I was going to school. So at 19, I'm, added responsibilities, and as life has been, I've always had added responsibilities, and serving others has been one of those things. So, ultimately, I think that my story has been written, already. And again, this may come up, but work life wise, that I'm not going to go jump in front of a friggin' bus and end my days, but I live my work life and life that my name is in a book with a date already.
Yeah.
And I can't change that other than working towards it and not being afraid of it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where, you ask, did God put you in this position? It's like, yeah. And then farther to the end, that my story has been written and has gone from there. So
I think, I don't know, I feel like we hear that story of, okay, God has called me here. This is what he's designed me for, from pastors a lot.
Yeah.
That's a common story that is heard throughout church world. And there's almost a sense that can build of, well, if he's not calling me into vocational ministry, then I'm not as good. Or he doesn't have it as designed of a pathway. But he does. And so it's cool to hear a story of, even as a little kid, like, this is what I was made to do, and God kind of lining that up.
Yeah, I tell people, even like, young adults today, I'm like, hey, I'm lucky. Like, I am blessed to know what I wanted to do at such a young age. And there's hurdles. There's been hurdles. There's been sidetracks. I was like, no, I'm never going to use my degree. I really haven't, but help me get the job. Especially talking to people that actually are making those calls, and I blurt out, specific aspects, and they look at me like,
who are you?
And I'm like, yeah, I'm not an idiot cop with a badge. I got a Bachelor of Science degree at Humboldt State, and They're like, you did? I'm like, yeah. A lot of us aren't stupid.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of the people that work for state parks have it, higher education.
Yeah.
So, which is good. But yeah, no, it's it's been lucky, and I just for like when I was talking with the youth, it's just like, work towards it. What do you want to do? What makes you happy? you know, and what makes you happy is what God has put in front of you.
Yeah.
For your calling. You might be writings, you know, if you're a writer, that makes you happy. That's what you were meant to do. You know, a baker, a chef, you know, all those things, you know, it doesn't have to be the glorious job, you know, but, you know, as a garbage man, if you're picking up trash, make sure you're working like you're working for the Lord, right? It's like, I'm going to do the best route I can, you know, and be happy about it. Because if you're happy about going to work, you're never really going to work, are you?
Very much so. Yeah. You got to put your effort into things. I think we, with internet, we know so many news stories of the risk of certain things or taking a chance on certain things or things not working out that we don't give our all to things that we aren't 100% sure it's going to work out. And religion in some ways is very similar in that, well, I'm not going to commit to Jesus because I don't know 100% if he was real or 100% if this is happening. And we lose faith because we're so seeking trust. One thing that I've learned about law enforcement is that I didn't know is that there is a spiritual weight to it, whether you're religious or not. The various people that you're interacting with, and law enforcement is usually not interacting with people on their best days.
If you haven't recognized that.
And so there's a spiritual weight that comes with that. How have you experienced that?
Personally or with others?
Yes.
So yeah, exactly. Personally, I think that's one thing that I've focused in on, you know, my focus has really grown much more in the last 10 to 15 years in regards to my religious side of things. I was, like you said, I was already a Christ follower, and very beginner, say baby Christ follower, you know, because I wasn't going to church. I always felt that I was communing with him in the outdoors, and that's where I was getting my restructuring, my strength. And so younger in my career, I felt that I was covered there. And how I was dealing with people is that I want to treat people the way I want to be treated, you know, the general guidelines, the golden rule, you know, kind of thing. And as I've gotten older and experienced more and more, I'd say, evil and more, you know, people that are on their best day, meaning that they might be bad versus people that are just in a bad situation, and how I can help them and move through it and how it not affect me, versus then when I really started diving deeper, and we found, you know, finding Cold Springs, coming to Cold Springs, and then really going down my Christian path and really diving in deeper over the last 5 to 10 years. I really feel that is, you know, the aspects where I've kind of helped myself stay positive more than going down to the negative side. Because if you let that part of the career take you, a lot of guys want to work a ton of overtime. You know, their family life gets dissolved. That stuff starts struggling. You know, you're self-medicating with other aspects of life to help take away pain, not discussing things. And that's one good thing that's been happening over the last, you know, I'd say 10 years or more, is that talking it through, you know, all agencies, you know, all law enforcement branches, of being able to discuss things. And then for me, it's just been more of diving into the book, having our men's groups and stuff like that we've been able to talk, even though, you know, there's only a couple that are in my line of work. But it's just having those other people, because when you surround yourself with the same type of people you're working with all the time, that's really never a break either. So, having your others that you can have discussions with about life, and not being focused in on man, yesterday we did this, and you did that. What guy did you find, you know, in a ball somewhere, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, how long to the corner to get there to get to you, and that kind of stuff. So that's for my personal side. And then over the last couple years, I've realized that I needed to start branching out and helping the younger officers. And specifically this year was the cadets. I'm a lead instructor for our arrest and control tactics and other places at our academy. And it's like, I need to step out of the role of just instructor and help them be more of kind of like a counselor, or find out who needs a little bit more, because these people are moving away from home for 8 months.
Yeah.
And they're some are from Southern California, some are from all over, and our academy's up at Butte College now. And so it's like, what resources do I have to help them maybe find somebody for why they're here, or if they are followers, like, hey, don't forget, you still have this to release. And so, yeah, I was able to reach out to Jesse Blair and get some information for their group, and I've got the flyers and trying to help them a little bit. But there's still a fine line that I can walk, as a lead instructor for them, versus, stepping out of that role and being something else. I have to walk that edge a little bit. So that's more of our equals and personal. And then you asking for like, what kind of have I encountered? Like,
well, you had mentioned different encounters with demonic or spiritual things on the job, and so I'm definitely interested in that.
I mean, just in general contacts, and you people don't realize, it's just say I've had multiple contacts where we're having a conversation or we're working down. There's a crime occurred, we're investigating, we're doing something, and the individual's attitude begins to change. Physical demeanors, stances, just the unkeptness of their bodies, whatever's going on, they're changing, and then all of a sudden the eyes flip. And what I mean by that, if you have never been into a position where you're talking to an individual and the eyes kind of go black, and I'm using that as just a metaphor, but they do go dark. The pupils will dilate. They will go pin. They'll either get really big if they're wide open. That dude's high as a kite. Or depending upon a different type of stimulant.
Yes.
But when they go death stare and those eyes go black, you're dealing with something a little bit different. And in the back of the head, I just ask for a little quickness, like, hey, give me the strength, let me get through this, power through. And then luckily that whatever I have, what's being protected, the contact either gets to a point where they're in handcuffs and they're dealt with, or the conversation can be turned and gone down to another path. So I've had plenty of those over the years, and then the gift of gab is something that we always use. And if you have, like I said, a lot of officers have been on the job for a long time. They'll say that. He's like, you guys get the gift of gab, and that's what we try to talk to our cadets about. Is that's the hardest thing when they're in field training, is you need to talk to people like they're regular, like they're human, to see what they can be having the worst day, and usually they are when we're in contact with them, and find that mutual moment where they can maybe step off the ledge specifically, or not specifically, and calm down, and we can have a conversation and then get them to realize what's going on. So and then the death that's all around. So and that's some of the hardest, because when I was working in the Auburn Canyons for 8 years, a lot of people die. A lot of people die over there, and people in general, for some strange reason, they like to commit suicide in pretty places. And a lot of state parks are in pretty places. So a lot of our officers are finding, the suicide kind of situations, and by all ways, shapes, or form. And my worst one was an individual that was out at Lake Clementine on the boat, and he self-mutilated himself pretty bad. His wife at the time was on scene because she went out there. And so detail wise, I was with 2 Placer County deputies. They didn't realize that, we have boats and I'm the operator. And scanner traffic was going. I ended up getting called. I didn't give information. We got down there and I didn't know exactly what was going on. And he goes, "Oh, we possibly have a suicidal individual." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I was like, actively, like, can you feed me more information?
Yeah.
You guys have been working this for 15 minutes and you
Yeah.
never called us. And so he goes, "Yeah." So I respond in code. I know exactly where they're at with just the description. I'm on operating, and we come into that cove, and she's holding him up, and he's mutilated himself, very bad. And it's probably one of the worst blood curdling screams that I've ever heard in my entire life, which talk about not sleeping well for a couple nights.
Yeah.
Just that alone was the screaming. Came in on board. Again, I've been operating vessels for a long time. I'm the lead operator for the department for training, and came whipping in, got them off. We ended up getting the individual on board. I'm having to tie off on his own boat, get the woman in there. We don't know if it's suicidal or if we don't know if it's murder situation, and so I have to check her out, get her seated. She's just completely distraught, begins to pray. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm safe to turn my back on her without detaining and everything else. And we look over, and all 3 of us all make like eye contact, like, oh my gosh, like, what did this guy just do to himself? And it looked like a shark attack, basically, that he inflicted on his individual. And all of a sudden he starts to gasp for air. And now I have to kick into life-saving mode. So I'm pulling all of our medical gear on. I'm telling them what to do in regards to, direct pressure and oxygen, all that stuff that has to go down. And I'm landing CalStar, which is our helicopter medics that come in. I'm trying to land them and doing multiple aspects on the scene. And so basically what it came down to is that, I put it this way, is the engine wasn't running with no oil in the system. For those who can picture that. So then we get them. We get, luckily the keys were in that vessel. I'm floating over fast on the boat, and I'm landing CalStar on this little island. And then nurse comes out. We start everything, and nurse was going to transport, and I was like, "What? Do you see what we see?" And then the nurse finally looked back down and realized what was going on, and they called him on scene. But the aspects of not just the physical side of that whole encounter and that contact, but the side effect, knowing how much pain that individual was in prior to that, was probably more of a burden to live through, not only for the family that had to deal with it, but just the 3 of us that were on scene, trying to save this individual. It's just like, it was pretty rough. But as you've been around law enforcement, we're sick and demented. And the way we cope at times is either changing the subject or talking about something funny.
Yeah.
Not
you laugh or you cry.
Yeah. So not funny about the individual that went down, but this situation. So, and then, so as we're there for a couple hours, because now Placer County has to do like a possible full breakdown to see if this was a suicide versus murder, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, great. Now I'm here with 2 to 3 more hours.
Yeah.
And I haven't eaten yet. And I'm hungry. And so that's where the sick and demented part comes in. And it's like, I got to fuel my body. So that's those are just that's just one of the many situations of the darkness that surrounds certain areas and memories and just what these people are going through. And it's just sad.
Yeah. You talk about lack of sleep and things with that. I can only imagine. How do you, after witnessing that, you said many times, you show one story that represents many, I'm sure. How do you come to church and hear messages of positivity in life and what God can do with the experience that you have seen of death and destruction. Like, how have you brought those two things together of God in this world and the horrible death that can be in front of us?
Well, first of all, it's yin yang. It's there's good and there's bad. There's evil. It's all around us. We can't deny it. It's in the book. It's in Genesis, right?
Yeah.
So,
and even just logically, if you believe in good, you have to believe in evil.
Yeah. And no matter what people's religious belief in, when you say that there's good and bad, they're like, "Yep."
Yeah.
It's like, "Yep, there's good people, there's bad people." And it's like, "Yeah, where do you think the bad comes from?" You're not born. We're not born. We're not born specifically bad. And so or evil aspects of it. So coming to church is getting my cup refilled. So there was definitely a time in my life where it was affecting me. It was my cup was empty. I knew there was good and bad. I knew there was other things. I had got to the point where, I thought I deserved certain things in regards to my career, in regards to what I've done and what I, have helped out the department. Some other things that happened within our department. We had an officer down south that I didn't know specifically, but I was close friends with others that had worked with them who committed suicide. We've had a few of those over the years, like every department. And a book came. I read a book, and it's like coping with law enforcement or something like that. It's a great book. I recommend most law enforcement and spouses. And Jen read it, and it put a little highlight in it, had a little bit of a religious side of it, but it was just one of those things where it's like, this is a job. You don't deserve anything. No matter how hard you work, it's just like, look, this is where you're put. And then after reading that and then really diving in, like I said, coming to church more frequently, like, it's okay, we miss. It's like, no, we're going to church. I'm here every day. And so, even if I miss it, if I'm on the road for work on a Sunday, traveling some other place to work overtime, or like I was helping snow. I haven't done snow stuff for a couple years because I'm teaching so much at the academy. But if I'm doing some on Sunday, it's like I'm watching it. It's like I'm either trying to do live or I'll come back later that evening. So that's where I'm able to cope and deal with the two aspects, because if we're not ready, if I can't speak for if I'm not ready and my cup isn't full, I'm no good for the individual that needs me to be there for them. So for me, logically, it's easy. Good and evil. And I'm gonna keep filling my soul up with good, so that when the evil comes, it's repelled, kind of thing. Like just like in Coloma, where I work now, it's like that house is fully haunted. There's that structure is not a friendly place. And so
you got to take me there sometime.
Hey. You can ask Lucas.
Check it out.
Lucas took a few of his friends a couple weeks ago. It's right next door.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah, so it's there's things. There's things we can have a conversation off. This would become a different podcast.
I'm okay with that.
Ghost
Part two. Well, now we gotta. Yeah, I didn't know this about you. This is great.
So that's kind of how I can hopefully answer that question.
Absolutely. Well, in the filled cup that I think my personality is I want to help people. I want people to be okay. And at my deepest core, I want to be, for better or for worse, a reason that people are okay, right? Like I want to help people. And one of the biggest things that learning lessons is what you mentioned of, I can't help people if my cup is empty, because I have nothing to give other than broken glass. And so to realize that the best help that I can be to the people around me, to my family, to my friends, to whoever, is that my cup is overflowing, that I'm actually not even pouring it out, but that I'm just staying still and it's overflowing onto those around me. And that's what you depicted. To be able to walk into evil, into death, your cup has to be overflowing, has to be full. Yeah.
I mean, the metaphor you can use that you used, was it last month, maybe 2 months ago? Remember you walking the waterfall?
Yeah.
Stood taking it in and letting it just rain on you. So yeah, there's days, and we all have, some days are easier than others. Some worship days are better than others. Some days are there. Some days you're struggling, just like, I mean, I've come into church and be like, I need something. Please give me some. Spark me. Like, it's been a bad morning. It's been a bad week, whatever it is. But I'm here. I'm here to worship. I'm here to hear the word. And even if the word isn't what it didn't get me, didn't grab me, didn't pull me in.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Whoa.
I said if, and that's not me, but it could have grabbed somebody else. But we're not talking about yesterday. I already gave you the props. So that would be what date? Just to make sure when this airs. If you haven't, go back on that date. It's awesome. Like I said, little David sandwich.
Yes, indeed.
And it was it was good. I had multiple people. So yeah, no, those days are like, yes, I'm able to go out, and the cup is overflowing. It's filled. Plus, Bible apps, and we're getting ready to start our Mighty Men group again, and so I'm looking forward to that. Where it's like, hey man, I was down. Texted Robbie and I was like, hey man, I don't know, I'm just down. Like, what's going on? When are we getting our group back together? Because I need our guys together just to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And so finding those moments, it's not just Sunday, but reading, the Bible app on the Bible app. And having 2, 3, sometimes there's too many, but it's like going through, it's really cool that we're doing the Bible in a year again. It's like my 5th year in a row. Like, we're just going through it. And like David said a few weeks back, it's not going through the Bible, but let the Bible go through you. Yeah. Of the plan. And I remember the first year I did it, I was going through the Bible, and like, it was cool. Yeah. And like when you guys were up there or whoever was doing it then, they talk about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I read that. And like, oh cool. That's okay. And then you're getting insights. And now it's like, yep. Okay. This is the meaning, and it's just going and letting it soak through. And each time I hear whatever book we're in or whatever chapter we're reading, it's like, yep, I have heard this before, but now I'm looking for the deeper meanings. Like, what's going on? How is this focusing?
The different angle.
Yeah. And how is this focusing in on today or this week or what happened last week? It's like, oh, so.
Yeah. That's cool. So as I guess to shift topics, I always thought that carpal tunnel was something that only old people got.
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely have carpal tunnel right now in my wrist. And I looked it up because I was like, I'm not old. Even though my intern tells me that I'm old all the time, I know that I'm not. And
wait till she's that age.
Yeah, exactly. And I looked it up, and here's some main causes for carpal tunnel. One, heavy computer usage. Okay. Yikes for me. Squeezing things really hard, like a strong grip. I've been going to the gym a bunch. And then the third one, picking up small children.
Yeah. Hey.
I never stood a chance. So.
Well, I think it was not the small children situation. I think it's been the repetitive movement of a joystick or something, like, wasn't it like the video gaming kind of aspect, and then the texting, and then
well, the texting
you are in that
for sure,
generation.
And then the keyboard. Yeah.
Hey,
no good.
Nope. So, did it tell you what you can do to help relieve that?
I gotta go see someone, I guess. Well, I was hoping it would just go away. If you ignore things long enough, they just disappear, don't they? Yeah.
You can inflammation in there. You can do some other homeopathic things.
Yeah.
Get the talk and type whatever program.
Yes, there you go.
I think Nate has one of those things. You can talk and type.
It's good.
Yeah.
Lots of good technology these days, huh?
Yeah. I guess so. I'm still old, so I still type.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
I use like full words and sentences when texting. It's one
Wow.
of those old guys.
How weird.
It's like, hey, hold on, let's have a
Not
full
just
conversation.
3 letters
I'm
that
like, what is
represent
that?
3 words.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I don't understand. Yeah, I got a
Whatever.
cheat sheet. I pull the cheat sheet out of the pocket and be like, okay.
You do not.
No.
So the Spindrift, sparkling water,
Yeah.
lime, unsweetened,
Hey,
definitely not sweet,
I
definitely
like it.
no sugar,
Yeah.
and definitely no caffeine. Oh wait, I'm just kidding.
No, Spindrift
No
does not.
caffeine.
Yeah, I knew.
Yeah. See, when you look at the ingredients, they tell you what isn't in there more than they tell you what is. There's no fat, no sodium, no carbohydrates, no sugars, and no protein. Why put that if it's none of those things?
It's because Big Brother's making sure that we are aware of the situation.
Of what's in there.
That's
or
a whole
not.
nother conversation about Big Brother. I can't believe there's 4 calories though. Oh my goodness! If there's 0, 0, 0 and no 0,
You're
of
like,
everything,
where
it's-
are the calories?
Yeah, and then the bubblies are going to give you calories. So, yeah, carbonated water, lime juice, lime extract. Hey,
Okay.
you know where that comes from?
Where?
It says from limes. It says
Wow,
right there.
that's awesome. It says hand squeeze.
Yep.
No, it doesn't. It says real squeezed.
Yes.
So definitely a machine, right?
I would say so. I bet they just pulverize it in a huge thing.
Yeah.
And then like
All at once.
filter. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just a big stomping machine.
So the rating system is -10 to +10 with a 0 in the middle. Where are you putting Spindrift, sparkling water, real squeezed fruit, lime?
I'd say let's go with 5.
Wow.
It's the lime as we're going deeper into it. The lime is even very
more,
much
it collects
there,
at the bottom.
and you can
Yeah.
feel it like wrapping your
Around
tongue
your
a little
tongue.
bit.
Yeah.
So, but it is it's definitely limey.
I feel like if sparkling water, flavor or no flavor, is not a 0, then what else is? I feel like this is the middle of the line drink. It's not bad. It's not good.
Yeah.
I give it a 0. One of the first ever. We had Spindrift before.
I
I,
know.
wonder what I gave.
I
gave it
saw
then.
We'll
Well,
have to go back and review that. Like, okay,
know.
has it changed your mind at all?
Yeah. It's probably gotten worse. I was probably more positive about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for sharing and being a part of this. I appreciate your time.
It's exciting.
Good. One of the first guests, and hopefully not the last.
Hey, yeah, we can focus in down on similar subjects, but dive deeper into it. I guess.
Agreed. You got to come back. We gotta talk haunted house, Ghostbuster. We should do a cop story. We should get you, Dan, and Nate to come do cop stories. Oh man, is that offensive to put you into the cop category? To
No,
you?
I don't.
Okay, good.
No, it's
I don't want to step on a landmine, man. I'm finding people are sensitive about
man.
this.
There's so many worse things. I think as I've gotten older, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to I always laugh when like you're not a real cop, and I'm like, okay, you can tell that to the judge when you're when you're having your hearing. But it's we're just. I try to explain to people it's like sometimes we're the more happier-go-lucky law enforcement officer you're gonna come across. And again, I work in a pretty nice environment these last few years versus what I had for majority of my career.
Yeah.
And then so that bitterness of everyday hard, heavy calls has been dwindled a little bit.
Yeah.
The last 4 or 5 years working in a historical little no campground, just day use, aspects. So
really?
it's
There's
been
no
nice.
campground in Coloma?
No, not in our park. There's 3 private ones, but that's not my problem.
Yeah.
If there's something happens, I can respond to assist, and then I turn the paper. So I get to play and then turn the paperwork over to the other agencies. So that's how it
There
looks.
you go.
But yeah, no, it's good. It's good. But it doesn't bother me. We're law enforcement or a cop,
Boom.
whatever. It's easier if the people realize that than realize the other.
Yeah.
Because then you're trying to like, bro, like don't fight
Stop
me.
this. Yeah. Yep. Law enforcement stories. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, they were in the little, well, Dan in his earlier years, is you go into the court there at the end. Mm-hmm. But he probably has some decent ones too.
Yeah. He told this funny cat story. I don't know if you saw the one.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So funny. Well, awesome. Thank you for being here.
Awesome.
Thanks for being a part of this. Yeah. And thank you guys for watching and tuning in for yet another Pop Podcast episode. Drop a comment. Send this to someone that needs to hear a conversation like this one. Again, we're hoping that we're building up people of peace to leave behind pools of peace for the Prince of Peace. Pop. Can you believe that? All those ones, they just rattle off. So, thank you for joining. We will see you again next week for the Pop Podcast. See ya.
Bye.
It's that easy. Can you believe that?
No, I can't. How long did we talk? Seemed like 10 minutes.
I know, right? It just flies by. It's almost